man.
One day late, but that's better than nothing.
Well,
He says, hopefully.
We did, because it gave us both a little time to process, I would assume.
That is true. Normally I think our podcast goes from everything from like, hey, nothing happened, so check out this article that I read about us all living in a simulation,
Right.
all the way to, wow, crazy stuff has just occurred and we should like vent about it a little bit. And I think this is one of those ventable ones.
Yeah. So, yeah, for those of you guys that are watching and somehow maybe are living under a rock, it reminds me of those Geico commercials. You've been living under a rock. But yeah, if you have, obviously today's September 11th, which I think that'll probably be the theme of today's show, is just kind of a reflection on where we're at as a country 24 years later. But yesterday, just some absolutely tragic news. Charlie Kirk, who is a big conservative influencer and just a huge voice on the right, it's a crazy word to use, but he was assassinated on public television, basically, live for everybody to see. And
yeah, in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, man. I'll tell you what, you go first. How are you feeling?
Well, so this one kind of hit me a little weird, mainly because we've had political assassinations before. It seems like this year, especially, it's like going back and looking at the stuff from the '60s, where it's like, oh, killed Bobby Kennedy, right in front of people or stuff. So far this year we've had
they killed Jack, MLK, and then Bobby all within like 20 months, I want to say.
Yeah. So last year we had the attempted assassination of Trump right in front of everybody. Strangely, CNN broadcast, they decided to broadcast his rally. They normally don't, but people got to watch him be nearly killed. That was fascinating. Then there was the CEO of that health insurance company,
Brian. United Healthcare. Yep.
Yeah, gunned down. There was was it about a month ago that a Minnesota House or Minnesota Senate, so the state politics, not federal, were killed in their home by some assassin that got them and tried to kill other people as well. It had a hit list. That was one of the kind of right-wing killing
nut jobs.
Yeah. So this one, yeah. So this one now, the strange one about this one is that Kirk was not a politician. He held no political office of any kind. He was not running for any office. He wasn't like he was the CEO of some multinational conglomerate or something. The dude debated people. He was on social media a lot. It's really strange to think that like you could be gunned down for debating people, but it seems like where we are now. So one of the things that I did was I checked some of the reactions from kind of the usual suspects. I look at very extreme social media. So looking at the right-wing social media, of course, there was these just outrage. They're like, how could this have happened? They need to hunt down the monsters that did this. And of course, the right is also thinking we need to go hunt down the people who incited this kind of violence. So the term that Joe Biden used was stochastic terrorism. I don't know if you remember when he used this phrase.
No, sounds like a Joe Biden term.
Well, basically the idea behind it is that if you just have people all the time echoing each other, saying that like Democrats are evil, Democrats are demon possessed or whatever, they're baby murderers, and like you just say this enough, you say it enough so that at some point somebody is going to snap and go kill those people, and it's like, well, it's not your fault. You didn't tell them to do it. You didn't say anything, but it's like you're one of the terrorists by contributing to this environment of at least maybe not outright calls to violence, but something kind of like that. Like, these people are the enemy, right? They're endangering you, you know. So the right wing has used that term now to refer to basically the entire Democratic Party
Yeah.
over this. You know, it's like, well, this is stochastic terrorism, right? This whole time you've been calling us bigots and fascists and saying that we're the
Nazis.
most dangerous, we're insurrectionists, most dangerous thing for democracy. And so, yeah, you didn't pull the trigger, but you've created the environment where that was going to be inevitable. So if not him, somebody like him was going to get shot by somebody who felt like it was their moral duty or whatever. And so, like, yeah, you all pulled the trigger, basically. So that's kind of the reaction on the right wing. The left wing reaction was very weird. So I don't know quite how to describe it. I screenshotted a lot of this stuff just because it was like, this is all going to get deleted
Right.
by the mods. But I hopped onto one of the subreddits, the liberal gun owners. So they're like, we believe in the Second Amendment primarily so that we can defend ourselves against tyranny, which is coming in the form of Donald Trump. Not here yet, but we need to be ready for it. And so, like, everybody needs to arm up and, like, have your rainbow flag that says defend equality on it, you know, like trans rights, and this is how we protect each other and stuff.
Right.
And their reactions were like, this is the best news I've heard all day. I'm so excited right now. Next, who's next? Who's next on the list? You know, you know, this person was a total piece of shit and he deserved everything that he got. And oh, look, oh, it's karma. Karma got you, you know, kind of thing. And all those posts were deleted. There was a big announcement that came out. It was like, we do not condone violence in any way. We do not celebrate violence, whatever. And of course, there's underneath that, you could see all the replies. Most of those are deleted as well, because people are responding to that saying, like, what do you mean we can't celebrate the death of a Nazi? You know, like, well, wow, what's wrong, kind of thing. So Blue Sky, also like very far left, their general reaction was something along the lines of, this is a conspiracy theory. So basically,
right.
Trump
exactly.
had him killed.
False flag. Trump had him killed for the Epstein files, and also Israel was pissed off at him for the last month because he went rogue on Palestine.
Right. And, he'd been formerly in favor of the Gaza incursions, invasion, occupation, whatever you want to call it. And now he's softened on that in some way. But yeah, so in order to cover up or distract people from the Epstein files, Trump literally had him killed, and then is going to use this as an excuse to come
revolution.
Disarm the left wing of the country, so that then we kind of usher in some kind of Handmaid's Tale.
Gotcha. They're going to take your guns, but only if you're a Democrat, huh?
Right. Yeah. Because you're the dangerous ones.
Yeah.
Right? We found out you're the dangerous ones. So that seems to me to be pretty unhinged, but that's kind of what's going on around. I mean, I find the reaction on the right be like, okay, you know, let's go jail the Democrats, kind of thing. I find that equally unhinged, but it's very, very strange. Kind of
I'd like to believe that both of those are completely fringe, you know, some crazies out there, but I mean,
they're loud crazies.
As much as I'd like to believe that, I posted, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so I you know, here it is. So, like, you know, I posted this because I was. So my friend Tony, actually, he's listening right now. He just chimed in. So, hey, Tony and I work in the same office, and Tony came over to me middle of the day. You know, I'm buried doing some AI coding or whatever, and he comes over and he's just got this look on his face. And he's like, they just shot Charlie Kirk, and I was like, no, you know. And then he showed me the video, you know, that went completely viral of him, like the close up of him getting shot in the throat, which I mean, it's crazy that they, you know, that went as viral as it did. I mean, that's like that. I mean, that's anyway. But it's so graphic that I didn't even believe it. I was like, oh, that's some AI nonsense.
Fake,
That's not even
yeah,
real,
yeah.
you know? Yeah. And he's like, no, that's real. And then as we, you know, I went online, obviously Googled and just kind of started searching. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know why. I've had a chance to think about this now for a while because you know, I'm not a huge Charlie Kirk fan. You know, in terms of the message that he put out, you know, he had some great things to say, especially along the lines of like, you know, having, you know, strong dads in the home. And I mean, obviously these are people have criticized that because it's like, well, you're saying single moms can't. Obviously, dude, people are going to make it happen, right? But in an ideal scenario, obviously it's better to have, you know, strong mom, strong dad, raising strong kids. I mean, duh, you know, this is, how is that a controversial statement? You know, but I mean, he says some things that are, you know, even the things that I may agree with, he says them in such an incendiary way. You're kind of like, oh my gosh, man, why you do it? But I mean, I get it. It's provocative, you know. And he's also
like that, but okay.
But on the other hand, right? So all that aside, right? Like, so I mean, dude, there's plenty of people that I disagree with or think that they're handling things the wrong way on both sides, and I've gotten a lot of flack over the years from criticizing people that people, oh, why are you criticizing them? And you know, you're going to help the other guys out. It's like, dude, there's something to criticize there. I'm going to criticize it. I'm just because that's my personality. But so I posted this, and I don't know if you can see this. So like this, I had 230 responses, 148 comments as of today, and I can't tell you. I was so surprised at. I mean, it wasn't the majority of people by any means. I was just a, you know, small subset of people, but that were like, hey, he got what was coming to him, basically, you know. And I just I don't know where we are, man, as a country when you're like as a people, as populace, you know, when you're I mean, it's like when Trump was shot, you know, and then people are like, oh man, it's too bad they missed, you know, and you're just like, where's your humanity, you know, like this is just nuts, you know. Here's what's crazy about this post. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a guy on Twitter who's pretty prolific. He's a Houthi rebel. Okay. This guy is literally
he's fighting for his country.
A Houthi rebel, right? Yeah. Hold on, bud. I'm talking with Uncle Russ. Say hi to Uncle Russell. Hi. So this is his post. He says, yes, I hate Charlie Kirk because he's a pro-Israel influencer, but that doesn't mean I approve of what happened to him. What happened here is a crime. I hate that he justifies crime, that Charlie Kirk, justified crimes, so I can't justify a crime that happened to him. That's pretty
very self-aware,
intellectually honest, you know. You know, and then he followed that up with another tweet because he got a lot of flack from his people saying, how could you, like, you know, because they were like, yay, you know, and he's like, dude, and he goes, look, my stance is clear. My enmity with the Zionists and their tools, which he put Charlie Kirk in that category, is indomitable. But when I rejected what happened to Kirk, it was because we are a people of principle. We don't trade our values for revenge. The difference between us and them is that we hold on to justice even with those we disagree with, while they justify the most heinous crimes, right, against our children. This is not sympathy, and it's an exposure of their hypocrisy, that those who resist them are more humane than they are. Okay, now obviously that's his point of view about his own, but it's like, dude, if he gets it, yeah, how could you not get it? You know, Ezra Klein, you know, huge liberal, had an article. I don't know if you read it. I had sent it out in our thread that we have together. Okay, hold on one second. It's right here. Yeah, that's fine. So let's see here. Let me share it with you here. So this is Ezra Klein, Charlie Kirk, practicing politics the right way, and then he has a huge write-up on it, and he got a lot of flack for sharing this, obviously. But his quote, and I just want to read this to you. I did not know Kirk, and I am not the right person to eulogize him, but I envied what he built. A taste for disagreement is a virtue in a democracy. Liberalism could use more of his moxie and fearlessness. In the inaugural episode of his podcast, Governor Gavin Newsom of California hosted Kirk, admitting that his son was a huge fan. What a testament to his project. Kirk and I were on different sides of most political arguments. We were on the same side of the continued possibility of American politics. It's supposed to be an argument, not a war. It's supposed to be one with words, not ended with bullets. I wanted Kirk to be safe for his sake, but I also wanted him to be safe for mine and for the sake of our larger shared project. The same is true for Shapiro, for Hoffman, for Hortman, for Thompson, for Trump, for Pelosi, for Whitmer. We are all safe, or none of us is safe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is so basic that it's like, but on the other hand, so I've been in this kind of like back and forth with different people on the thread, gently, and I'll say one thing about my tone, even that I was observing about myself, is that like I would go and type what I would normally like type, and then I would go back and just, like, is there any way that I can like de-escalate and flatten this and still deliver the same message, but with love, because the thing is that, I think we've painted each other. We started painting each other so much as enemies, right? It's like right, left, whatever it is, right? Populist, capitalist, whatever it is, right? And it's like when you paint each other as enemies, it's like, well, dude, an enemy, you don't negotiate with an enemy, you destroy an enemy, And the thing about Charlie that I just absolutely respect it. I mean, for the last I think year and a half, I think I've been watching his videos when he would go to campus and debate people. And he was just absolutely fearless about, he put out some provocative statement, like abortion is murder, prove me wrong, right?
Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong. And then people would, but he would like, dude, to take the mic, take that. Okay. Okay, got it. He would give people the mic and just talk. And anytime like his people would show up and kind of shout him down, like, hey, you're wrong. He's like, dude, quiet,
Yeah.
And if you watch his videos, these people are like, oh, he just preached hate and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, I mean, maybe you could find his ideas objectionable or hateful in the sense of like, let's say you're very pro DEI. He was obviously not. And you translate that as some kind of hate. Okay, I get that. That's valid. But he was never hateful in his delivery. He was never hateful when he talked to other people. He was very much, because the way he looked at it was, look, these aren't enemies. These are potential recruits, right?
Right.
And I think it's like, man, we sit down for, the whole metaphor of Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, how am I going to sit down and have Thanksgiving dinner with these people, voted for this fascist or whatever the case may be, right? Or this communist. It depends depending on your point of view. And it's like, dude, like,
sit down and eat the rolls.
There is a possibility that with good ideas, somebody goes, oh, that's a really good plan. I hadn't thought about it that way. But not if we treat each other like,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I think when you say, well, gosh, there's like sort of a fringe that is celebrating this, then you've got other people that are not. And here's kind of how I see the divide happening within the left. So you've got people that are like actual liberals. And so I put people like Klein into this, President Obama, Clinton, Nancy
I'll self-identify.
Yeah, but I mean, these are Democrat Party liberals.
Oh,
and
I'm not a registered Democrat. So.
Yeah, but all of them have given statements that unequivocally, with no conditions,
reject
what happened.
Right.
Chuck Schumer is another one of these. And it's like, yeah, because they're just regular liberals and they don't, it's like, why would you, like, if you disagree with someone, don't listen to them or argue with them, but you don't shoot them. Like that just sounds crazy to them. And so, of course, this has to be denounced in no possibility for misunderstanding there. But there's another part of the left that like they're very different, and once you get a taste for it, at least in parts of social media, you develop an ear for this particular group. And this group, like, if you or I were to use the word fascist, for example, it would be like a interesting historical thing. Like, well, are we talking about what happened in the early part of 1910, 20, and 30 after
Right.
World War One?
Mussolini, Franco.
Mussolini, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, this person is a fascist. Like, are they an apologist for what happened in the 20s? Or are they saying something else? Or we could have an interesting debate about fascism itself. And, is it of necessity devolve into violence and oppression the way, say, communism does? Or is it not? Is it different? And we can have an interesting talk about that, because it's an ideology that we can examine.
It's a political system. It's not evil.
Right. Right.
Neither, by the way, is communism or socialism. It's a way to organize society. And you can say, hey, this one doesn't sustain itself very long, or this one tends to implode upon itself, or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
All of them suck. You're trying to get people to work together.
It's hard to do.
It's hard to do.
So this group, though, doesn't see it like that. For them, the word fascist is like if you were talking to someone, say a medieval Christian in Ireland in, say, 500 AD, and you said, that person over there is a demon.
Right.
And it's like, oh, a demon. Yeah, it's like they appear human. They look human, but they're not. They're a demon. I can prove it to you, and I show you the proof. It's like, oh my gosh, they levitate when they sleep at night.
Yeah, what's that?
They drink blood.
Isn't there like a Matthew McConaughey movie or like Bill Paxton where they're actually like killing demons or whatever? I don't know. They look like humans, but I can't
demons.
remember.
They're demons, yeah.
And the whole movie, you think they're nuts, and then at the end, you're like, "Oh my god, it was real."
It was real, yeah. I remember the movie you're talking about. Yeah, the guy has a vision while he's working on his car, and it's like God tells him you have to kill the demons.
Bash people's head in with a shovel. They're burying him. Yeah.
So if it's like the demons are not supposed to be listened to. In fact, if you listen to them, then they
poison your mind. Yeah.
They poison your mind. They deceive you. And so it's very important that they not be allowed to speak, and also that they need to be eradicated. We have to resist them utterly.
The great analogy, man. Yeah.
So it's.
But I would say that phenomenon is on both sides. I mean, on the extremes of both sides.
Sure. No, I'm not trying to say this is a unique problem over here. But so if once you're identified as a fascist within this group, even if the evidence for that, like, well, what did he say that was fascistic? It's like, we all know.
Yeah.
And everyone nods or whatever.
Well, dude, I got accused on this thread of being a racist.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the back and forth, but it's a friend of mine. She's cool. But I was like, she would never say that to my face ever.
Yeah.
She got carried away. It's cool. I get it. And I know where her heart is. Like but she first called a friend of mine a racist. Mm-hmm. And my friend, all she had said was, God bless Charlie Kirk and his family. He was a strong Christian, whatever. And she's like, oh, what kind of Christian?
Go to hell.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, all right, And then she called her a racist, though. And I was like, well, wait a minute. What evidence do you have for that? I've known her 30 years. She's not a racist. And she goes, well, if you're defending her, maybe you're a racist too. And I was like, and so I put up that Inigo Montoya, meme. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
But that's the thing, is that for you and I, like, it means something like out of a dictionary or
there's a definition for yes. Yeah.
But that's not what it means.
It's just a pejorative. It's just
within this world, it tags you as vermin. So in the same way that, like, if you were, let's say,
dehumanizes you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and in fact, but like makes you not just not human, but like beneath any kind of consideration at all. Mm-hmm. So, if you think about, like, if you had if your house was infested with mice or something, they're just everywhere, and like you open the pantry in the morning, and there's just like mice everywhere, and they scurry away, and everyone's screaming, and you're leaving poop trails everywhere, and you're like, you know what? You set a rat trap, and you don't think to yourself like, my brothers, I'm sorry about what happened. You're like, die, and you're going to take some satisfaction in their death and like dance over their dead body if you want, like, because it's like they're vermin. And it's the same kind of thing that, like, if we were thinking of the fascists again, if we were in Nazi Germany and someone talked about the Jews or the Poles or the homosexuals, they would all be vermin. And so it's like, whatever happens to them, I mean, do you care? I don't care. Nobody cares. Like, that's
Right.
ridiculous. And so yeah, it's not just that you'll have people say, horrible things celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, but also if someone steps in and be like, I don't think we should talk about the death of a human being this way, they look at you like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Well,
Like,
that was exactly the reaction anytime I was pushing back. It was like, bro,
yeah, this is vermin.
Yeah, these are bad people. I'm like, okay.
So anyway, I think that group, I mean, we could have a long discussion about how this happened. Like, was this a concerted brainwashing effort? I know there's a lot of energy over on the far right to say, well, this is indoctrination that happens through education. People go to college and they sit in gender studies classes for long enough, and then you're going to think that anybody who isn't, reciting the creed, in this house we believe science is real, love is love, trans rights are human rights. So, like, if you don't affirm all of those, then you're one of the vermin. And so they're kind of focused towards universities, which, interestingly enough, a lot of the celebratory tweets that I'd seen are people on TikTok dancing, saying like, oh, Charlie Kirk's dead, yay. A lot of them were teachers.
Yeah, I know. I saw a couple of teachers got fired today,
Yeah.
Which is mind-boggling. It's like, dude, I mean, what are you trying to teach?
I have a feeling they were surprised. They're like, wait, why?
What? I think I don't know. It's funny, like I was thinking earlier today. I was like, man, how do we get out of this? How do we get back to some civility? And then I kind of had this. I don't know whether it was an epiphany or not, but it was kind of just there is no going back. It's just, this is where we are, and the only course through history is forward. So it's like, well,
except in Rome. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I mean, even then, right? Like, the next chapter is the Goths, right, or whatever. But I mean, I think it's like, dude, you have to just kind of accept that. Okay, well, this is where we're at, and this is the climate. And so, how can I be powerful and effective in this climate? I think because I'll apologize to our audience in advance. We're this is going to be a shorter podcast. We both have maybe 15 more minutes here, but. I think the thing to watch, in my opinion, too, is like there's a lot of disturbing stuff on the right too in response to this that I don't know whether, but I mean, I shared this one with you earlier.
Oh yeah, this one's been making. By the way, on the right, this one has been making a lot of rounds. So, like, you were not the first person to show this one to me.
To show this, and the thing is, it's like, okay, and by this is just one example. I mean, there are tons of examples out there, like Elon Musk, I think, tweeted, the left is the party of murder, so like this is going on, and the thing that, a couple of people did point out, and I thought they made great points. Like, look, I get that you're sad about Charlie, because you have a connection with him, but just last month, Ortman was executed in Minnesota. I didn't see, where were your posts for her? Somebody had pointed out that Nancy Pelosi's husband got beat up last year, and or earlier this year, wasn't it? Or
no, it was last year. There's some weird circumstances around that, but whatever. Way, like, we should still.
But President Trump was the one making fun of him on Twitter. So it's like, or on Truth Social. I mean, he was like mocking him. So like. This is like it's just I don't know, man. It's I've watched a bunch of content yesterday and today from the MS Now and some of these people. I'm just like, dude, really,
you finally had enough
examples of humanity. I'm just like, dude, I can't even. But then I saw a bunch of conservative pundits too, like, just completely lose it, and of course they're emotional. there, Megyn Kelly was reporting live as he got shot, and then of course she had her podcast. Glenn Beck was on there, and then they made this announcement. He passed away. They both broke down in tears. Real emotional moment watching it. But then of course they, they got swept up in their emotions or whatever, and they're just like, this got to stop. This is called arms, whatever. And it's like, dude, whoa. Glenn Greenwald had a great segment on today, and he was just like, look, if you're in the media, you have a responsibility to get a handle on your emotions before you get up there and I mean, if you consider yourself to have any responsibility, I mean, you need to like tighten it up a little bit, somebody was asking me earlier why this particular killing mattered more or on the scale that it seems to. And, I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I said, for just spitballing, I think, like when Trump was almost killed, I wasn't, I mean, it was shocking, but it wasn't like, okay. The presidents get assassinated. That's, it's unfortunately, it's a high risk occupation. As a percentage of all the presidents, that's pretty high percentage of them get killed in terms of percentage,
Oh, we grew up with stories of Mayor Cermak in Chicago getting gunned
right.
down
Cermak, yeah.
at a rally, by some, it's like, if you're the man on top, someone's going to want to come get you.
The gun of Zangara, right? Yeah. So there's that where it's like, okay, Trump getting shot at, or the Speaker of the House in was it Minnesota, right? Minnesota. It's like, it's tragic, and it's also like, okay, that sucks, and we need to get a handle on it. But it's also like, okay, it's not to mitigate. It's just like you kind of have a spot for that in your head. Sometimes political leaders get killed, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks, right?
That's why they have giant security details, right?
Right. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, I saw some comment. Well, what about the kids that got shot in the school later that same afternoon yesterday? There's a school shooting that kind of got, and it was like, okay, but we're kind of used to random acts of violence too. This lady in the subway and stuff. It's like these are horrific, and it's like but we're kind of like, oh, hopes and prayers, this and that. I'm just kind of like, there's it's like you have a slot for that, but. Having like all he did was like show up and put his ideas out there and invite people to debate him. Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, so now like our podcast, you and I say, so obviously we've got a very small audience, so we'll know who you are. The cops will know who you are. but just imagine, it's like, so you get a microphone, you get a podium or a platform. It's like, better not speak your mind if somebody come and kill you. It's a much more, to me, close to home type of a situation. The other thing I think that people don't take into account, especially on the left, people on the right kind of know who he is, but people on the left are like, who is this guy? Believe me, the kids know who he is, and I've seen several liberal commentators, Gavin Newsom, a bunch of other ones, right? That are like, dude, like my kids came, they were upset that somebody had killed Charlie Kirk, and they didn't. It's like, I don't agree with him, but like, dude, that guy was cool. He just came and wanted to share his ideas, and he was cool with hearing the opposing point of view, and that doesn't make any sense. And I just I don't know. It could. Who knows what.
So, I'll tell you, for me, it kind of sits in the same place in my head as the attack on Salman Rushdie.
Great example. Or the Charlie Hebdo or something, where you're like, bro, this is crazy.
So you got marked as, in that case, it was a fatwa, right? So it's like some cleric somewhere declares the death penalty for you, kind of in an international sense, borderless sense. Anyone who kills you, even if they're killed, they've earned their place in heaven. And so, like,
dude, that's a great example. Thank you.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of where it fit for me. I don't normally think I'm trying to think of the last time the right killed somebody for their ideas. Like I said, we've got some examples of political violence having to do with elected officials, but just someone being like, the right going after trying to kill Christopher Hitchens or something like that because he's an atheist. Like I'm just not aware of that, but maybe that's next. Maybe
Well,
something like that is
the,
next.
the
So
other thing is, there's have you heard this slogan? And people are saying it today. It's like, look, man, speech is violence.
mhm.
Right? It's like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
The
the
words
person
that
who did it almost certainly felt like what they were doing was self-defense. Like he was genociding us with his words, and so the only thing left to do is. And there's probably a lot of people, by the way, I'll tell you, a lot of people. If we're thinking about this group of people, which is larger, I think a larger group than either of us like to give give it credit.
no, you
But
make
but a
yeah,
lot of people, when they heard the news, felt, I
safer.
think, no, they felt a sense of cowardice that they were not brave enough to do what needed to have been done, and they waited for someone else to do it.
I'd like to not believe that's true.
I can assure you that it is.
It reminds me of it's like, okay, well, so if speech is violence, so if speech is violence, then a bullet is what? That's an eye for an eye, basically, right? You're slinging your words out, and so we gotta. That's interesting. It reminds me of that. It reminds me of that. It's crazy because, like, dude, actually, no, words are not violence. Okay, it is okay for you to get your feelings hurt, and you can, shocker, stand up for yourself and also use words, which are not violence. We could scream at each other, but as long as you're screaming and yelling, you're not punching and fighting and shooting each other. I mean, there's a difference. The emotional carnage versus physical carnage is. I mean, there is kind of a historically a dividing line there. It reminds me of this scene in Game of Thrones when Littlefinger tells Cersei, knowledge is power, and he's like basically, oh yeah, that's how I got one over on you. Knowledge is power. And she goes, oh okay, and she like lifts her finger, and the guy pulls a sword on him and like choke holds him, and she goes, Littlefinger, power is power.
Yeah.
You know,
Just a reminder.
just a
Yeah.
reminder. Yeah.
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 I'll tell you though, as far as where we go from here, I think in general, people don't give up their enemies very easily. I think there's plenty of there's a ecosystem that thrives on us being angry at each other, and so that ecosystem is fine with whoever's angry and for whatever reason. And so um, this thing that happened is going to be an incredible fundraiser for a lot of folks. It's gonna generate all sorts of things, and sort of the hate industry is stronger than ever. And so people are not. That's not going to change until there's a external enemy that we perceive as a greater threat than the internal one. And I think you see this kind of thing happen sometimes in more civic minded um, areas that go through like natural disasters.
Mm.
So, um, so if you look at, say, New Orleans with Katrina, and you had like a massive breakdown of law and order, and people were looting and everything, and then you contrast that with, say, Houston going through its hurricanes, and generally that doesn't happen. Like people string. The neighbor they really don't like, they're stringing electrical cords across the
Right.
windows so that people can have fans and stuff. Because it's like, well, yeah, we may not see eye to eye, but the storm doesn't care, and
Right.
it's gonna take us out if we don't help each other. And
Mhm.
so, if there's something like that happens, like totally ridiculous, but like an alien invasion, um, you would see a lot of these things just vanish because they no longer would matter in that context. It's like, oh my gosh, the taxes are different. Like you're fascist, doesn't matter. Um, so I don't know. Wartime is a powerful thing. I mean, interesting thing about today, September 11th, and I mean, you and I both remember that real vividly. And I mean, you remember what it was like and the amount of solidarity that people felt with each other, and how patriotic everyone suddenly was
Yeah.
um, right afterwards. So, um, you know, That's probably the only thing. I think otherwise we wind up balkanizing the U.S., which I think is the more likely thing to occur. But if we
You've been
are
saying that
attacked,
for a long time, man. Yeah.
if we're attacked, I don't know, like let's say Japan is like, we're not done with you guys yet. They've been secretly militarizing this whole time. We go to war with Japan. I know it's totally insane.
Japan.
Yeah, I mean, did it once, do it again.
Yeah.
But I think
they need to start having sex with each other and making babies before
yeah,
they don't have the manpower right now.
you don't have the soldiers to send out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would take something like that.
Well, that's not the remedy I was looking for, but
I'm always a cheerful person to have on the podcast.
That's good. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. It's good. You're skilled, man. You're a skilled person. Man, I'm glad we got a chance to get on here and just kind of deconstruct it. I do. It's funny thinking about September 11th. I remember like so vividly, like where I was, how we all felt afterwards, being on the phone with friends of mine in DC, in New York. I had several friends working on Capitol Hill, and K Street. They, evacuating their offices. People were terrified. There was bomb threats outside the State Department. I was like, dude, we're being invaded. I mean, like it was we're under attack. And I just, I feel sad in a way because it's like, man, they were airing on CNN earlier today the film from Bush being down at Ground Zero and having his arm around that fireman, and the guy in the crowd yells, "We can't hear you," and he says, "I can hear you." And the people who tore these buildings down are going to hear from all of us soon, right? And the crowd just went crazy. And I mean, dude, people loved George Bush back then, and then to see, like, obviously all the things that we've learned since, all the different initiatives and the different things that they had, not Bush himself probably, but like, Cheney, Wolfowitz, all these guys had basically like gamed out, like, oh, we're going to use this, we're going to Iraq, all this stuff. And to think like, man, like back then you had a budget surplus, you had debt of like, I think 4 or 5 trillion. Mm-hmm. And we just completely squandered, and also the goodwill and unity of the people, and just completely squandered it. And now you've got 36 trillion in debt 24 years later. And we've added, in 24 years, we've added, 30 trillion? I mean, like more than $1 trillion a year in debt since then. And you think to yourself, like, okay, what have we actually accomplished here, right? You've alienated the entire, not the leaders in the Middle East necessarily. They're all eager to get in bed and cut some deals, but the people, you've exported terrorism, so many different places, at least anti-Western sentiment. People go, oh, we had to take in all these refugees and blah, 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 and immigration stuff. Well, dude, why do you think they're refugees? Like, we smoked their countries.
From what?
From what? From us. It's like, dude, just connect the dots. It's just, it's so incredibly sad, and now we've got, all these, I mean, I saw we were at 122% debt to GDP ratio. At 130%, that's the historical line where typically in most society, as long as they've been measuring it, that's when you can basically count on an armed revolution of some kind.
Or some kind of collapse of society.
Some type of collapse. It's like, dude, I mean, this is just, and we got these. I saw some stats too. We got these terrible outcomes on the health side, terrible outcomes on education, terrible outcomes in obesity. 1 in 7, 7 out of 10 American men are ineligible physically to join the military. Physically, overweight, diabetic, whatever the case may be. Forget about it's like.
Well, I mean, you and I are too old, so.
Oh, right. Yeah. Physically.
We're part of that 7.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, that's probably baked in that stat. But it's just like, that's just insanity, man.
Well, I'll tell you, man. everything about what you're saying makes way more sense. You'll find it less shocking once you fully embrace the truth,
which
which
is,
is the unity and well-being of the people is not correlated with winning an election.
oh, well, there you go. That's easy to get on board with. Obviously, obviously, it's like
Yep.
people get distracted with this, you know?
Well, and once everybody that's in power realizes this, which they have now, then you just kind of wait until they get theirs and watch the system go belly up.
Yeah, gerrymander their districts so they can stay safe. And yeah. Wah, wah. All right, man. Well, on that good note, let's we'll call it. We'll be back next week.
Next week will be more positive. Hopefully.
Oh, hopefully. Yeah.
I believe
yeah.
it will
But,
be.
hey, I believe we'll have positive news to talk about next week.
Do you claim this today?
Name it and claim it, baby. That's it.
I'm
Putting
gonna
the positive energy out there, man.
Yep.
You know, we're in a simulation, so you know it's really our minds that create this reality. So we did this to ourselves, you know.
Yes.
All right, man.